This is my current Minecraft base, and it's starting to get somewhat filled up with items. And this is the largest Minecraft base made out of literally 150,000 blocks, holding every essential farm, getting you every material you'll ever need, an automatic sorting system with every single item in the game in it, a trading hall, and much more. So let's craft some blocks and build an outline of the base. Okay, this might be a little bit bigger than I thought. Just look at this exact replica of the house. It looks tiny. Or actually, not that tiny. Actually, matter of fact, it looks huge. Now, I want to start off by just building one giant block of the house to get a bit of a grasp of how much it's gonna cost. It took 34 stacks. 34 stacks of wood, and I didn't even finish 1% of the build. So to make this project a slightly bit easier, I'm going to be splitting it up into 3 different stages. So it's probably a good idea to first build the base of the base. See what I did there? So I then can build all the stuff inside of it. And we're gonna need a bit of wood. So I only got in about 1 inventory full of logs. And I need about 13 times more. Yeah, I don't think I can gather all of that manually. Which is why I'm instead going to be building all the farms necessary to get all the materials inside of where the giant crafting table is supposed to be later in the video. And since most of the materials comes from wood, I'm going to start off with a wood farm. Now to be able to build this farm, I'm going to need another farm. Which thankfully was pretty easy to build. And if we quickly gather up the rest of the materials, we can now build the farm. Now, the only problem is that I don't know how it works. But I think we put the bone meal here, and let's just flick the levers. Oh, I mean, I hear a sound, and then put the sapling here. Wait, I think it's working. Yes! So let's just AFK for 10 minutes to see how much we've gotten. Wait, that's actually crazy. But we are gonna have to AFK a lot more, because we are gonna need this much more wood. Wait, did I just run out of bone meal? Another farm too! Let's now just store this bad boy up. I said, let's just start this bad boy up. Okay, why isn't it working? I'm just gonna act like I didn't just spend 2 hours trying to figure out the problem when all I had to do was put 1 item inside of the hopper. But I mean, it's working. And the way this farm works is by using bone meal to spawn up moss, which then proceeds to automatically get composted, leading to an automatic bone meal surplus, which then just gets repeated infinitely. And I think we might have enough. And that's the oak, birch, and spruce done. Now for the jungle and darkwood, I actually can't use the farm. So I've got somebody to do it for me. Yeah, the joke was that I did it myself, but I'm realizing now that maybe it wasn't very funny. And after gathering some torches, that should be the last of the materials. Which means that we can now start building the house. Alright, there's most of the house done, as we're going to split it up into 2 different floors. And while on the topic of floors, let's add some. And since we're basically done with phase 1, let's move on to phase 2, building all the interior blocks. So it's probably a good idea to start with the easiest giant blocks and then move on to the harder ones. So let's start with a door and the 3 windows, since I already got the materials for those. I think that looks pretty alright. Now if we take a look at our exact replica of the house, we can see exactly what we need to build. And the first block is going to be the crafting table, which is going to hold all the farms that we're going to build in this video. And a crafting table. You didn't see that one coming, did you? But to now be able to build a giant crafting table, I'm first going to need stripped oak logs. So I once again built a farm for it. This is getting old. And that's the stripped logs. Next I gotta get dark oak and mangrove logs. And with that done, I'll also just have to steal some logs from the chests outside the house. Well, let's now start building up the base of this crafting table. Now to finish up this block, I'll also just have to destroy this wall to get more space for future farms. And that's the crafting table done. Moving swiftly on, I'm going to build what every base can't fit. A giant cartography table. Yep, I know we've all dreamed about that. Okay, maybe that's not true. But the plan is to then use the shell of the block to build a villager's trading hall. Now for the materials. We basically just need dark oak. I don't have any dark oak. Yeah, I'm getting real tired of farming dark oak. And lastly, if we then harden a few different colors of concrete powder, we're then basically all set to build up the table. I mean, it doesn't look that bad, just a little bit special, but hopefully nobody will notice. And now we gotta move on to the hard part of the block, trapping the villagers. So my plan is to create a portal here connected to the nether roof, since if you didn't know, 1 block in the nether actually equals to 8 blocks in the overworld. And then on the nether roof, I created a long road of railroads, leading up to another portal, which is then connected to my previous trading hall. And now I just gotta try to lure them into the portal and transfer them 10 times. I hate villagers. Okay, there we go. Now there's only one thing left to do. Try out the disposal system. Oh no, he's taking damage. If only someone could stop this. Now to finish up the bottom floor of the base, we're gonna build something a lot crazier. A giant double chest capable of automatically sorting and storing my items with a click of a button. But first, we gotta build up the chest, which basically only requires stripped jungle wood. So let's first farm jungle logs forever, and then strip them up. And with that, we can now quickly build up the chest. Yo, this actually looks sick. But now for the storage system. So I'm thinking we build it right here in the middle and shape it out like a walk-in closet. So we then can build all the redstone that's gonna make it able to auto-sort my entire inventory and store millions of items right outside on the other side of the chest. Now, I'm not very good with redstone, but I am very good at following tutorials. Yeah, so this is the sign we're going to use. You basically put the item here and it auto sorts it over here through this hopper. It's a pretty easy and cheap design until you build hundreds of them. Now this is gonna cost quite a bit of materials. So let's start by crafting about 1,000 chests and then marking out the entire system using them. Yeah, I think this is enough chests. Now to be able to connect all of these chests into the system, we are first going to need over 1,000 hoppers. Following that, I need repeaters, torches, and comparators. But I don't have any redstone left. So that took me a while. So to be able to build a system, we just have to build the same mechanism as in the test world, but over 120 times. The only difference is that I'm going to have to pick what item I want sorted by placing it next to these 4 named ones. So I basically have to get every item in the game. Well, let's just start building. So I just finished building all of those machine thingies on every single chest. Here's where the hard part comes in. I gotta make a transfer system. And this is what I ended up using after 7 hours. So you basically put the item here, and then it starts popping up here right after, proceeding to flow up into the hoppers above and then making a swiggly turn around to this water elevator. And depending on which item it is, it will go through a different amount of hoppers to get to its chest. And then it basically just keeps on... Ah! Ah! Now basically, the glowstone should go through the entire system and end up here. Yes, finally. So now I just need to go and move all my items from our previous base over to the new one. Yo, wait, why does it sound so satisfying? And finally, after another 5 hours, the storage system is now complete. Now I can finally go and get my sorted netherrack. Now before we build the roof of the base, I just want to let you know that we're really close to 10,000 subscribers, thanks to all of the support on the last video. So if you're enjoying the video so far, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. Please, I depend on internet numbers for validation. But with the entire bottom floor done, we can now start working on the second floor. Starting with the roof, because as you can see, there is no roof. Yeah, you can probably see where this is going. Wow, this looks insane! Just imagine you randomly walk around your world and you see, wow, what a nice house. What? But now we can finally move on to stage 3, finishing the last floor. So I'm going to start off with the easier and more boring stuff like a bed, yeah, and then move on to harder ones like a literal giant nether portal. Now with this wonderful masterpiece built, I now want to build an enchantment table, which is gonna require 1,500 obsidian, 400 diamond blocks, which wasn't very hard since I'm a record holder if you may. Not anymore. Red concrete, and lastly, dark oak. Not again! But with all the materials, let's now just quickly build it up. Now for the inside, I'm actually thinking of building something in the lines of the Stronghold Library, but upgraded. So let's take some pictures and empty out the halls for some materials. Now first I want to add this second floor thingy, but instead of keeping it plain and straight, I'm gonna make it circular. Following that, I want to make these walls of bookshelves, but also make them circular and a bit more intricate. Let's give that some light, and then lastly build this enchantment table thing in the central, so it all looks like it's leading down to it. Yeah, this looks really cozy. And now I could just put a tiny grindstone next to it, or I could put a giant grindstone next to it. Yeah, you can probably see where this is going. Much better. Let's just add a few grindstones in here and a couple of everything, because who knows when you'll ever walk by and need a loom. What even is a loom? Moving on, I want to build a couple of furnaces on top of each other to replicate an auto smelter and an automatic food farm. Okay, there's all the deep slate and deep slate bricks that I need. Let's now go and get some iron blocks from the iron farm and craft some tinted glass. And that's basically all we need to build up the 4 furnaces. So the plan is to now make the bottom 2 furnaces hold an auto smelter. Problem, I don't have any materials, so I stole some. Now let's start by placing out all the hoppers. Why? Because we need to get this furnace hopping. Following that, we gotta place out all the furnaces, which will do all the heavy lifting. Now to be able to get the items I want smelted into the furnaces automatically, we're going to use hopper minecarts. Since they're a lot faster than normal hoppers. A lot. So let's place these for the items, and these on the sides for the fuel. And then connect the output all the way out to the front of the furnaces, so we can quickly take out the finished product. Yeah, this doesn't look confusing at all. Now to be able to have working furnaces at all time, we're going to need fuel. A lot of fuel. And after some research, I came up with this. Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. So I basically just flick this lever and it starts to infinitely dupe carpets, which then flows into the furnace system, which equals infinite fuel. Lastly, we now just have to build a water elevator connected to hoppers, which will bring in everything we want smelted into the furnaces. Okay, so we put out the items here and wait over here. And yes, it works. Now I can literally smelt items infinitely. This is going to help out so much. For the upper 2 furnaces, we're now going to build 3 different food farms, ranging from easy to hard. So let's start with a cooked chicken farm. And let's build it in this corner because it's actually super easy to build. All we gotta do is to build glass around the chickens. When they lay eggs, the eggs will then get spit out here, spawning even more chickens down under the lava, which then dies from lava when they grow up, giving me tons of cooked chicken. Yeah, that didn't sound very ethical when I said it out loud. Oh my god, my house is on fire! Now, I'm just gonna let this farm run in the background while we start working on the medium one. Automated baked potatoes. And this is made possible by building this sort of farming platform and kidnapping a few villagers over to it. Yeah, I've started to realize that maybe Minecraft isn't very ethical at all. Now the way this works is by using the farmer villagers' obsession of picking up crops and dropping them, because if we place down some hoppers under them, we can actually steal their hard work. Now to make these potatoes baked, we just gotta connect it down to the smelting system. And wait, it's so fast. Now for the fastest and best food source in Minecraft, we gotta... Yeah, so apparently villagers sell them, so we can just buy them for infinity. Yeah, I should have probably done some research earlier before I build this. But with the furnace fully constructed, we can now proceed to the final structure, the giant nether portal. So to build this structure, we're going to need 4 different types of blocks: obsidian, purple stained glass, and 824 crying obsidian. And as you might know, there's only 2 known ways to obtain crying obsidian: mining ruined portals and trading with piglins, which gives you a 1 in 11 chance of dropping 1 to 3 crying obsidian. Which means that to get 824 crying obsidian, it would take 10 hours. And about 164 stacks of gold ingots. But what if I told you that I might have actually found a 3rd way? To find out, we first gotta go to the infinite dimension snapshot. Because the thing about this snapshot is that if you throw a book into a nether portal with a random text inside of it, it will generate 1 out of 2 billion possible worlds. And my plan is to find a world made out of crying obsidian. This might take a while. Oh! Oh my god! That is crying obsidian! So let's just transfer my items from my main world over to a new world and get into the dimension. So we can now just start mining. Yeah, so this is taking a little bit longer than I expected. Finally! Let's just transfer this back using a neat little program called MCA Selector. This kinda looks insane. Now, let's quickly gather up the last of the materials, which is blackstone, and then for the final time, finish the base. And that is the base done. And if you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy one of these too. So, click on one. Please.